Fl4tout Total Insanity is the fourth iteration of Fl4tout games.
Did you say Fl4tout? Fl4tout 2 was freaking awesome. There was a Fl4tout 3?
PS3 release that's terrible.
So when did Fl4tout 4 come out?
This year.
What are we waiting for? Let's play this.
We can't, there's no split screen.
Fuck it then.
You know, he's not wrong. Let's go back in time.
Fl4tout 2 was released on August 1st, 2006 by Bugbear Entertainment, a developer who was best known for Fl4tout 2. It's an arcade racing game featuring elite driver ejection physics to the point they made one game mode focused completely around launching the driver out of the windshield and knocking down pins, jumping through hoops, and other fun stuff like that. It played like Burnout, but with slightly more realistic car physics. It featured characters with specific attributes and skills, a nifty variety of cars, and a kickin' soundtrack from acts like Yellowcard, Alkaline Trio, and Fallout Boy. Critics thought it was alright, nothing worse than a 6 out of 10, but also nothing better than an 8. It was a decent game for the time.
It hasn't aged great, but what has, really?
The handling controls are a little wonky. You can't go too fast, or you're out of the car and missing a wheel.
And no, I will not use a car other than the Flatmobile, thank you very much.
And this isn't the game's fault, but the visibility is pap. Racing games just kind of had this problem back in the 6th gen. Burnout 3 is a fantastic game, but sometimes you just couldn't see that oncoming car. So after playing these games again recently, we thought of an idea. Why don't they remaster these games? They're the ones that need it. Don't tell me that COD 4 looked so bad on the 360 that it had to be graphically enhanced, you idiots. Remake games that function perfectly but could use a visual update. If the mechanics remained exactly the same, I'd buy an NBA Street Volume 2.2 in a heartbeat.
And that brings us to today's game, Fl4tout 4 Total Insanity. Oh, yeah, I bought it digitally, I don't actually have a physical copy.
Here's a fun question. Before I made this video, did you know this game came out this year? Here's my answer. I had no idea. I stumbled upon this game while jokingly looking through Walmart's game selections, and everybody I asked also didn't know it came out. I swear, they didn't even market this game. There was little exposure as it got. When I called stores to see if they had it, they didn't even believe it existed.
And this was 3 months after it came out.
But it did. It was developed by Kyloton, best known for Bet on Soldier, Bloodsport. Yikes, what the hell is that? Dude, put your brow down. You're gonna cramp up. So how does it play? You know, it's pretty solid. Most of the driving is pretty nice, unless you've got a car with butt control, which you can later modify to be better. Hitting other cars is pretty satisfying, and they hit back very often, so that's fun. Stunt games are alright. They were never my favorite part of Fl4tout, but they're alright.
I bought the game for one thing mostly, and that's demo derby stuff.
Destroying cars is most of the reason I hate Gran Turismo and Forza. What is the point if I can't mess up my opponents? I used to love playing stuff like Destruction Derby 2 for the PS1 and even NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup to wreck people. Unfortunately, the demo derby here is just okay. It's pretty fun to endlessly smash people, but the AI become pretty easy to read on repeated plays. Plus, if you figure out which car is the greatest demo car in the game, it becomes pretty easy. We'll get into why I got bored with it soon. There are also only 4 maps. There's a big dome, 4 ramps, 2 ramps, and ground hills. Even Fl4tout 2 had more variety and just plain more maps.
It's probably fair considering nobody knows this game came out in the first place.
Back to the cars, which you start the game having none of. If you want more, you'll either try Fl4tout mode or career mode. I'll walk you through my experience. So they give you an even thou and tell you to pick either the derby cookie or a clearly better car that costs all the money. Allow me to make this choice for you. Do not start with the inferior car. Making money for upgrades is super easy, and you can only upgrade a vehicle's base stats so many times, so always pick cars for stats over sticker price. Anyway, I managed to do pretty well through the Derby series, only notching a couple silver medals in the races, and some not golds in the trials. You'll find out this is by design, as you need to unlock a better car to gold these trials. I didn't realize this and poured as much money into the cookie as possible, and was physically not fast enough.
Don't be me, I'm dumb.
Once I had enough money to go up a class, I bought the only car available, the Shovel Deep. My first set of races revealed that it handled like a sled on grass, which I changed after I golded the tournament and maxed the handling instantly. I had no problems moving forward. How is that? Let me tell you how the tournaments work. Every race you start out in 12th. That's by design. You'd probably enjoy it less if you had less cars to surpass. It'll start out that you ram opponents as you go by them for an advantage and boost. These opponents aren't very boost savvy, so using it will leave them in the dust almost immediately. Sometimes you'll lose control, and that's fine. As long as there's a lap and a half left, you can catch anyone from last just by slamming others and destroying scenery for extra boost.
The way I learned this wasn't great, but we'll get to that soon.
Any race is winnable, but even when it's not, you can exploit the tournament scoring and keep going. None of these positions are weighted. First gets 12th, and every position under gets 1 point less. And races can go any way. Sometimes I'd see an AI win a race and get 9th the next, so as long as you limit races where you finish 4th or worse, tournaments are a breeze to gold. But while they aren't so boost savvy, these cars are very often better, so taking first can sometimes last seconds as they out-accelerate the shit out of you. Don't worry, once you hit a turn, they'll slow and you can wreck them. That'll take care of them for 15 seconds.
But what about them specifically?
Character. Personality. These are details that make a game stand out and difference itself from others.
A game often achieves this with its characters and its personality.
So the characters, well, they are some of the most one-dimensional caricatures you could imagine. Stupid clowns, badasses, and every other random punk stereotype in the book. In Fl4tout 2, the characters had very specific attributes. Some were better at racing, some were better at destroying. To prove it, I did an experiment in seeing who won derbies the most. I did 12 derbies, 2 in each map with the Scorpion.
And I deserve some credit. This thing handles like the tires have 100,000 miles on it, and you're driving on a frozen lake.
Out of the competitors, Sophia, Jack, and Frank did consistently well, and the rest didn't do great. These results are consistent with both the cars they use and how aggressive they were overall. There's nothing special about the Fl4tout 4 people. Sometimes they race great, sometimes they suck, sometimes they're destructive, sometimes they get destroyed. All of them are just skin variants on meaningless names, and even if we're more than a decade separated from 2, simple missed details like this soil the Fl4tout name.
Anyways,
once you surge through Classic, you'll have the option to buy an All-Star car. I was only offered the Bane. It was meh, but it gave me the chance to buy the Cookie Off-Road.
this was a mistake.
The Cookie Off-Road has such good handling and speed, buying this car will take absolutely all of the tension out of races. I would get into first almost immediately and never give it up. Hell, in most races I'd be in first before the first half of the first lap would even be over. I didn't even upgrade the car at all, and I literally won every race, and that includes assault races.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about these crappy things.
Assault races are Blur. Have you ever played Blur? For those of you that haven't, it's like combining Mario Kart with Gran Turismo. You get power-ups to destroy other racers with actual real-life cars. Great game. I'd recommend it. They're a blast in that game mainly because the roads are made around the gameplay. Fl4tout 4's curving roads and stop-start racing doesn't exactly work with silly explosive power-ups. Did you want to turn? Oops, now you're airborne. Finally catching up? Bam, pillar traps. If you could pick them up and utilize them, then you could plan. Instead, they just show up in your queue at random. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. There are 4. Spawning pillars behind, explosive ball green shell, circular shockwave, and shitty finicky proximity bomb. I hate this thing. I always watch it miss who I'm going for, and I swear, sometimes I got myself. What a shitty game type.
So there. That's what'll make getting golds in tournaments hard.
But that's all of career mode. Tournaments, time trials, and demo derbies. Some of the time trials in All-Star were impossible with a fully upgraded cookie, but the car you'll need comes from Fl4tout mode. Fl4tout mode is just, hey, do this really well, then you can do more things really well. Rinse and repeat until finished. That'll allow you to inevitably unlock the Anger M200, the fastest car in the game, do the trials, and gold everything.
This is where I should talk about the soundtrack. It sucks.
Maybe it's because 2000's metal was a little more prolific. They got legitimate artists also. But have you ever heard of Twin Atlantic, Trivolts, The Creep Show, Them Evils, Spider Kitten?
Oh, I've heard of Twin Atlantic. They did the only song in Fl4tout 4.
Why do I say the only song? Get this. Every time you return to the main menu, it plays No Sleep by Twin Atlantic. Without fail, it's the same song. Watch.
That's it. We had fun, right? I know why you came and watched. You want me to get mad. You got it.
I happened to be clueless about destroying scenery for boost until somebody had to flat out tell me that that's what was happening. If you don't figure that out, like oblivious me, some of the beat the bombs are literally impossible.
Honestly, I didn't figure it out because I just assumed that slamming other cars was the reason I was getting more boost.
Moral of the story, don't be dumb like me. But then there's stone skipping. You better hope your TV is calibrated well, because it does not work without it. I spent too much time trying to figure out how it worked, and 1 out of 4 times I'd managed to get 1 skip. For the gold and flat out mode, you need to get at least 3 skips on every go. Come on, come on. What? You got this. You got this. No! Please just do it. Fuck!
Personally, I would recommend trying as many different TVs as possible until you get it.
And did I say the anger beat the bomb is stupid hard? Yeah, enjoy trying not to make mistakes with 90-degree turns and the hardest car to stop. Once you beat those, getting the golden flat-out mode isn't too hard.
There's one game feature left, and it is easily the worst.
The multiplayer is broken. And I don't mean unbalanced or unfair, I mean non-functional. So you join a game or create a lobby because nobody is playing this game.
That makes sense. The game's almost 6 months old.
Hey, look, I found somebody. Ready for some high-octane fun. All the slamming and fast-paced racing. Let's see how good this guy is. What you're seeing is how 95% of races go. Your opponent's car is there, they just coast off the road and sit. You can still run the race, it just looks like they're AFK. I'd like to think that they can still race, because a couple times I lost, even though their car was still sitting in the same place. If you're playing and actually find somebody else and it works, hold on to that lobby for dear life. Keep hitting retry, send them a friend request.
Whatever allows the stars to align, embrace it.
I found no common theme as to what made these games work. Sometimes it was Survivor, sometimes it was Race, sometimes I wired my system, and sometimes I didn't.
What's important is don't ever count on it working, or you'll be disappointed.
You can ignore multiplayer altogether. You won't have an enriching experience playing it.
There's just one problem, and it's I hope you don't want the platinum, because there are fucking multiplayer achievements.
To all of you game developers, do not put multiplayer achievements in your games. I'm still not over my lack of game completion for World at War in the 360, since you have to be a 1065, those dicks.
And that's a game where the multiplayer works. Imagine if there was a game where everybody just stood in the spawn and were invincible.
Some of the trophies you can hunker down and just do. Win 25 online races? Fine, race against nobody. Win 20 assault races online. Refer back to 5 seconds ago. But slam 100 opponents and destroy 20 opponents online? No.
But what about the other car at the beginning of the race?
This is my favorite part. That other car is invincible. You can hit it all you want. It doesn't register hits or damage. You can't.
And because these are the only 2 trophies I need, competing against me online is miserable.
All I want is that platinum, so when a race works, I just bully my opponent. I do everything in my power to rack up as many hits as I can, wreck them, and hit try again to increase the chance I can do it again. Just look at the percentages on those trophies. They shouldn't be this hard to get, but are because of nobody playing online and the complete operational breakdown of the mode.
And speaking of annoying trophies,
Jay will be proud. Purchase all cars in the game. Making the cars unlocked for purchase isn't too bad, but acquiring the money to get every car is downright oppressive. If you go through the career mode and use that money to buy cars, you will have purchased maybe 1/3 of the cars in the game. Need I remind you that career mode is the only way to get money, so you have to do career missions to buy cars. The tournaments pay out the most, but then you have to sit through so many races against shitty AI. You could do time trials, but that's just one lap at a time of what I just described. What I did was go to the All-Star Survivor factory and chose the Finda mode, the most unstoppable car in the game. This thing manufactures points. I did this Survivor nearly 100 times, and I think I got 2nd or 3rd twice. You can get bullied hard, and you'll still place because this thing is so damn sturdy. Just repeatedly play it until you get the cash done. Flat out way, destroy 3 opponents in one race, offline.
thank God.
Go to quick play, pick Red Hook Collision Course, set it to 10 laps, pick a strong vehicle, focus AI is hard. Easy peasy. Genius or lucky, make the perfect score in a stunt.
Rename the trophy by design.
Just get 25 and finish pins, no big deal. In a nutshell, that's Flat-out 4. Final verdict?
It's alright.
We definitely need more games that follow the model set during the 6th gen, arcadey stuff like racing and sports games. Hell, Rocket League is everybody's favorite game, and it wouldn't hurt if we had a couple more of those and a few less The Crew 2s. I'd say I had some fun with it, but it was definitely slightly unfinished in places, and multiplayer trophies can go die. But the driving is pretty fun as long as you can ignore eating it hard once in a while. I'd say it's a 4 out of 10. I'd recommend Fl4tout 2 or Burnout 3 first.
So we playing Burnout 3 then?
Hell yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Thanks for watching. The last time I whipped up a script for a game was... oh shit, Amplitude. Check it out. If you want to see me and Matt play something, how about something great? What's next video-wise? That's a great fucking question.